All right, so let's make some of these mechanism sounds in Faceplant. From a new patch, I'm just going to go for some noise and a convolver. And that's the idea of these patches, is we're just sending short noise impulses through impulse responses. And we're going to shape the noise with the curve. And I have some audio files here for us to look at. These are click sounds, mechanical click sounds that are real, recorded sounds from the Boom Library Aircon pack. And you can see their character. They have like 3 transients, a little bit different volumes, different spacing. So we're going to make something along the lines of one of those. It doesn't have to be exact. To edit this, you could go ahead and draw them with double clicks. I think it's faster for me just to use the draw tool here. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to just draw a few clicks. And then I'll draw some at the end. And they can be a different pattern. This will kind of be the engage and disengage of whatever mechanism that we're making. Do something like that, and then add another one here at the end. I'm going to move this a little earlier. So there we go. It's something that will get us there. And let's take the volume down and reassign the volume of the noise with this click. You can right click to 100 there. And then I'm going to change the release so that it has enough time to play after this click has started. So that's what it sounds like right now. We have a long way to go. So let's make this faster, first of all. I think that's all right. But right now it's just playing. When we hold down the key, it's not waiting for us to release. So I'm going to go into sustain and make a sustain loop right around here. Now you see it's looping while I have the key pressed. And then once it's released, just because I have enough release time, you're hearing the rest of it play out. And I want to add a filter and assign the same set of clicks to the filter's cutoff position as well. Just to give it a little bit more of a moving character, make it sound a little less like what it is, which is just noise getting louder and quieter. So bit low there. I like to increase the resonance and the drive a bit. Just get it some bite, but make sure it's not all high-end noise. It's pretty good. So now let's make this a little faster. And I'm actually going to change the curve a little bit here. And the more that you make these curves move up and down, have some slope to them, the more that you're going to be able to hear the effect of the filter, giving it a sort of slightly more realistic feel, rather than something like this, which will just sound like pure noise. So, all right, now let's put an impulse response on it just so we can hear what it will sound like, sort of. I like to use a lozenge box slapback. That already makes it a pretty convincing sort of object, whatever that is. And again, I'm just like holding down a note and releasing it. So let's say I want to make some kind of ratcheting noise in the middle. I could then, well, first of all, you could actually just make it in here. because it'll repeat whatever's inside the window. But I want the ratcheting noise to have a more metallic character and just be able to mix it down quieter. We can set the sustain here. Take the volume down of the noise. And we don't have to bring it up to 100% if we don't want. So now this is going through the same impulse response. But what we can do is put it through to lane 2. So now in lane 2, we can add a different impulse. And we can go ahead and do like cookie jar. But I think it's nice to try something else. Okay, so right now what we're hearing is lane 1 lozenge box slapback is going through resonant hit as well. So what we want to do is take lane 1's output, and so now both of these are set to lane 3. So now we still have the lozenge box, and then we also have the new resonant one. Play around with different impulse responses, get some interesting tones. Make a really big sort of sound. What you can also do is record your own sounds. So here I have a sound, me hitting this drill bit or like a coffee pot. I like this last one. So I'll go in here and take this one, bounce that, and then you can just take that into phase plant, into Convolver. We can tune it. So, okay, now we can just like have fun with it and change the speed of the ratchet with some macros. So it already gives some pretty convincing results depending on what you use it for. Curious to try the coffee pot. I'll stick with the lozenge box right now. And then we can go ahead and add some servos to it as well. So I'll make this macro mix in the servos. I'm going to take this and put an envelope with an attack and a short release. It can be about the same length, but then this release has to be longer so that you can hear this release go down. And then we can do pitch. We can mix it to taste. What's the loudest the servo is going to be? That way this entire knob is useful. Add another tone. And something I like to do is to take the frequency shifter to make the sound less musical, just to decrease annoyance if it's played many times. Just kind of figuring out which way you want to shift it. Kind of like that. And I kind of like lower as well. So I'm going to actually just keep it at the high limit of where I want it, and then figure out the low limit once this macro is all the way up and assigned to it. That's cool. Can always detune it like that. Find out which one sounds better detuned. I like that one. So we have some servos. We could make like a stage 2 servo, and then we can add an LFO, turn it down, make the macro mix in the LFO, and assign the LFO to like a gentle vibrato. On one of the notes of the servo. Could also make this knob increase their pitches slightly. All sorts of stuff you can do with this. And then I like to leave the mod wheel empty just so that I can experiment with whatever I want to do with it later. So say I want to turn the servo off and just have it do ratchet speed. It could do this. I could make the mod wheel speed up the ratchet a little bit. It's a whole world of possibilities. I like to name the groups. It just helps clean everything up and know where it is. And then we can group the modulators as well. I'm just going to call it mech and servos. So now we have everything pretty easily accessible. I'll put a limiter on it. And then we can sort of disable these if we need. Can edit some of these. And so sometimes I like to add a disperser that'll just like add a little bit of a sort of pitch dive to the sounds, add to the effect that I started with this filter. Can add some bass heft to it as well, but it's optional. And obviously the impulse response makes a huge deal of difference. Without it, it sounds like, and then there's with it. So if you don't have Convolver, you could theoretically use some kind of filter bank. You just might need to put in a snap heap instance and then like a resonator and a filter, and then center your peak around wherever you need to. Set these to parallel, add in another resonator and a filter, and you can keep doing this just to add whatever resonances you might like. Here, for example, is the resonances of a little metal alarm clock and a sword. You can still model items with snap heap and filters, just kind of a brute force method. So as you can see, there are a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of fun ways and permutations to mess with, and you can add all of your own impulse responses in, hit random stuff around your house, and turn it into sounds. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something from this, and I'll put these presets on my website. A link should be in the description. So stay tuned for more, and thank you very much for watching.